Hello, baseball fans. This is Anthony with Bleacher Bum Sports Network, and we are back with Game 2 of the 1978 World Series between the Yankees and Dodgers, utilizing the final prototype build of Glory Days Baseball, a game which will be a long ways off, but has been the engine has been developed, and now I'm just needing to rate teams. So, shooting to release this sometime after the end of the 2019 season. But for now, we have, again, the second game of this World Series. And if you would like to see a little tutorial on how the game engine works, I would recommend taking a look at Evolution of a Board Game, which I posted earlier this week, I think Monday or Sunday. But it's 2 videos back, and it goes through the mechanics of the game and how the interaction between pitcher and batter works with contact, first establishing contact and then determining whose card the contact goes off of. And in Game 1 of this series, Tommy John didn't exactly stymie the Yankees, but he scattered 9 hits, all singles, and the Dodgers got home runs from Davey Lopes and Steve Garvey en route to a 5-0 victory. And John was the recipient of 3 very crucial double plays that came at key points in time. So in today's game, a game that the Dodgers also won in real life, 4-3 to take a 2-0 lead in the real World Series, we have Burt Hooton going up against Catfish Hunter. And our lineups for the visiting Yankees, a couple of changes. Roy White leads off in left. Gary Thomason takes Mickey Rivers' slot in center field, hits second. Thurman Munson will bat third behind the plate. Reggie Jackson is the DH hitting fourth. Greg Nettles at third. Lou Piniella in right field. And Jim Spencer gets a start at first base in place of Chris Chambliss. Willie Randolph at second and Bucky Dent at short. And for the Dodgers, no changes from their Game 1 lineup. Davey Lopes leads off at second. Bill Russell at short. Reggie Smith in right field. Steve Garvey bats cleanup at first. Ron Cey at third. Dusty Baker in left, Rick Monday in center. Lee Lacy is a designated hitter, and behind the dish for the Dodgers is Steve Yeager. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight to the action. And Roy White steps in against Hooton, and here comes the first pitch. And Hooton's modifiers, not a big strikeout. He's not going to affect contact much either way. He is a -1 to walks and +2 to strikeouts against lefties. No adjustment at all to walks or strikeouts versus righties. And Catfish Hunter, he is a +3 to walks and a -1 to strikeouts versus left-handers. And a -2 to walks, +5 to strikeouts against righties. And their contact adjustments, Hooton -3 against lefties, -2 against righties, and Hunter -3 against lefties, -3 against righties. So 69, and we contact off Roy White's card. Roy White, the swing, puts it in play. And against the right-handed pitcher, this is going to be a single into center field. So White starts things off good for the Yankees, but again, they didn't have too much of an issue getting hits off Tommy John. It was just getting runners across, stringing them together. Gary Thomason up, and 98. That is going to be a ballpark effect off of Burt Hooton's card. 41 versus the right-hander, and that will be a potential, well, that will be a double play, which Yankees are picking right up where they left off. And that is a ground ball down to shortstop. And the ballpark adjustment for Dodger Stadium, ground ball is going to be as is on a roll of 1 to 19. And as is. So 6-4-3 double play, in the Yankees exercising futility just like they did in the opener once they get runners on base. And contact off Hooton's card, right-handed batter. And Munson, he grounds that down to back to the pitcher actually. So Hooton's got that, and 1-3 on the putout. Yanks get a run, or a hit. Sorry, can't do anything with it. We head to the bottom of the second and no score. Davey Lopes up against Catfish Hunter. And that's going to be contact off Hunter's card. And Lopes, that's going to be a fly ball into left field. Coming in to take that is Piniella, one down. And up is Bill Russell, and that's going to be contact. That also will come off a Hunter's card. Hunter a -3 to the contact rating. 67, and fly ball from Russell, and also into left field. Piniella has his second out of the inning. And I'll walk through this at bat step by step, just for those who may not want to or haven't seen the tutorial. So first we roll to establish if there is a walk or a strikeout. So 0-8, and you look at the batter's card always for that. 0 to 8 would be a walk normally, and Smith will be hitting left-handed. You see Hunter's walk modifier for left-handers is a +3, so that makes that 0 to 11. So either way, that would be a walk, and that basically resolves the at-bat. So Smith trots down to first, and that brings up Steve Garvey. We'll do it again. 96. So 96, that will be a park adjustment to the final result. We then check the 1D20. 17, Garvey against right-handers is contact on 1 to 11 on the 1D20. Hunter modifies that by 3, so that would be 1 to 8. So the roll of 17 means our contact roll will come off Hunter's card. 57, and there you see a fly ball. 16 on Garvey's card is a fly ball to center field. And there is no symbol after the fly ball, so runner holds. And, well, it's third out of the inning, so runner would have held. So 3 fly ball outs and a walk, and the Dodgers are done in the bottom of the first, no score. So back to normal game speed now as Reg steps in. And Reggie Jackson versus right-hander strikes out on 30 to 43. Hooten doesn't affect that, so Reggie dodges a bullet. And 7 on the 1D20. Contact's going to come off Reggie's card against the right-hander. And Reggie takes a big cut, and that is going to be a double. So the Yankees' first extra base hit of the series, and that goes into right field. So Reggie Jackson pulls into second base, and Yankees are in business, scoring position, nobody out. Greg Nettles up against Hooten. And you heard that clatter. Bert Hooten dropped the ball. Have to go retrieve it. 53, that'll be contact off of Hooten's card. Left-handed hitter. And that is going to be a fly out and fly out to right field, or center field, sorry. And there, fly out ++1. That means all runners on second and third will advance. So Reggie Jackson's going to go over to third on the sac fly. So 1 down, and Yankees, their best opportunity to score in 10+ innings of this series. Sweet Lou Piniella up. And 38 for Lou Piniella, and that's going to be contact off of his card. Piniella trying to get a run home. 90, takes a big whack, and that ball is going to be a fly out to left field, but +1 is deep enough to get Reggie home. So sacrifice fly and an RBI for Sweet Lou Piniella, and Yankees are on the board, 1-0. Doing it the old-fashioned way, a line drive double, 2 sac flies, and Jim Spencer comes up. Spencer going to be contact off of Hooten's card, left-handed batter. 18, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Up with that is Lopes, whips it over to first, and the inning is over, but the Yankees running a hit. We head to the bottom of the second. New York leads us 1-0. Catfish Hunter stares down Ron Say. Here comes a pitch, and Say is going to draw a base on ball. So second walk for Hunter. And Catfish doesn't want to get out of control here with the free passes, because they will come back to haunt him inevitably. And 43, and Baker is a right-handed batter. So +5 to Hunter's strikeout, to Baker's strikeout range of 30 to 39 makes that 44. Hunter, swing and a miss. So there you see the pitcher interaction coming into play, turning what would have been contact into a strikeout. Rick Monday up the southpaw. And this is going to be contact off of, barely contact off Hunter's card. 27, left-handed batter, and that will be a ground ball. And that's going to be a double play. Go about it the hard way, 3-6-3. So the Dodgers have got 4 double plays in this series thus far, and they fall victim finally to one of their own. And we head to the top of the third, 1-0, Yankees lead. Willie Randolph up. Contact will be off Randolph's card. Here comes the pitch, puts it in play. And Randolph, he has got a single into center field. So Willie, with his first start of the series, is on at first base, and he's going to try and steal here. So again, black die for the jump and white die for the steal success rate. Hooten, in terms of holding runners, is a 0, and behind the dish, Steve Yeager is a -1. So that turns Randolph's success rate into a 6 if he gets a jump, 5 if he does not. So he gets a jump 9, but Yeager comes up firing and throws him out. Willie Randolph gunned down, 1 away. So Yankees trying to get a little adventurous. It does not pay off. And that's going to be contact, and the adjustment is going to make it off of Hooten's card. In play result, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And Bill Russell whips that over, 2 down, back to the top of the order for Roy White. Roy White batting left-handed against Hooten. And Hooten continues to have trouble holding onto the ball on the mound. We'll check that for some Vaseline. 60, and that is going to be hit by pitch. So Roy White, ball gets away from Hooten literally that time on a throw, and White is tagged. He trots down to first. 2 down, runner on first for Gary Thomason. The left-hander steps in against Hooten. And 42. And versus the right-hander, and Hooten adds 2 to left-hander. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Hooten's first of the game. So the Yankees get a single, a hit batter, but cannot score. We go to the bottom of the third, still 1-0. Yankees lead. Designated hitter Lee Lacy up. And Catfish Hunter kicks and delivers, and that's going to be contact. And that will come off of Lacy's card. 52 versus the right-hander. That's a pop-up and a towering fly ball. Camping under that is the catcher Munson. He takes it in foul ground, 1 down. So Hunter, so far so good. A couple of walks, but he's kept the Dodgers out of the hit column. Steve Yeager steps in, and that's going to be contact off Yeager's card. Luckily, Yeager is a banjo hitter. And not this time, it's a long fly ball back to the track, going back, and pulled in is the left fielder Piniella. Puts that away. 2 down, back to the top of the order. Yeager gave that one a ride, but not deep enough. So Hunter, 8 for 8 thus far. And 73 on the contact roll. It's going to be in play off of Hunter's card. 94, and that's a sharp line drive, and that is right at third baseman Nettles. Gloves that, and the inning is over. So the Dodgers, 3 up, 3 down. That's actually our first 3 up, 3 down inning of the game. Heading to the top of the 4th inning, it is 1-0 Yanks. Thurman Munson up. And 14, contact off of Hooten's card. 28 against the right-hander, and that's going to be a ground ball. And down to shortstop, Russell takes care of that, 1 down. Reggie up, and Reggie knocked a double and scored his first time up. 99, that would be a ballpark effect off of Hooten's card. And 90 versus the left-hander, and that is a long fly ball. And 11, will the yard hold it? It will. Needed a 20 to knock that out. I'm sorry, that's 11, a fly ball to right field. Then we have to roll to see if the ballpark holds it. My bad. 16 it does. So long fly ball, and Reggie's retired. 2 down for Greg Nettles. I think I would know the rules of the game I created. 60, and that is a potential hit by pitch, and against a left-hander it would have been. Right-hander, no. That will be contact off Hooten's card. And against the left-hander, 43, Nettles swing, and he drives that into left field, opposite field single for Nettles. And again, the cards are rated so that getting a hit off the batter's card, it's much more favorable, and limited opportunities off the pitcher, so it's rare you see a hit off the pitcher's card like we just did. Lou Piniella up, and 59, that's going to be contact 7. And against right-handers, Piniella is a 10. -2 makes it an 8, so contact off Pinella's card. 61. And Lou Piniella, and that is a single +2. He drives that into center field. Over to third goes Nettles. And with 2 outs, basically all single results. Single plus, obviously single +2 is going to be the same. A single coach's choice automatically becomes a single +2, and a single 1 base advance becomes a single coach's choice to try for the second base, or the extra base, I should say. So runners at the corner now, 2 outs. Jim Spencer, he can strike a favorable blow for the Bronx Bombers here, and that's going to be contact off of Hooten. 49 against the left-hander, pops him up, and Spencer cannot come through. That's a high towering fly ball. Lopes steps back into the outfield, pulls that in. And Yanks get a couple of hits, but they strand both. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, still 1-0 New York. Bill Russell set to lead it off. And 15, and that will be contact off of Russell's card. Against the right-hander, just barely, 9, and Russell has the Dodgers' first hit of the ball game. That is a single into left field. So it takes them 3 innings, but the Dodgers have their first base hit. And pitcher fatigue ratings, I should throw that out there. Bert Hooten is a 31-5, meaning he can face 31 batters. So he will get fatigued when he pitches to Reggie Jackson for the 4th time. Or if he gives up 5 runs, he'll lose his stuff, and the same penalties will apply. And again, the penalties for being fatigued or losing your stuff would be a -3 to your strikeout adjustment, a +3 to both your contact adjustment, and +3 to the walk modifier. Catfish Hunter, probably not going to be around for the entire game. His ratings are 25-5, so 25 batters faced or 5 runs given up. And with Hunter, that means he will get to Rick Monday for the 3rd time in this one, and he will be fatigued at that point. So just getting all that squared away. So Reggie Smith steps in. And Smith, 49, he's going to make contact, and 6 against a right-hander. It's going to be off Hunter's card due to the modifier. 68, and that is going to be a fly ball into center field. Coming in to take care of that is Thomason, runner's hold. 1 down for Steve Garvey, and contact off Hunter's card. These Dodgers actually do not walk very much. 79, and that's a long fly ball going back into left field, and Piniella pulls that in. Not going to be deep enough to get the runner at first across, though. 2 down. The Penguin, Ron Say, steps up, and contact off Hunter's card again. Hunter getting the favorable 1D20s. All the low D20s are coming on the contact roll. 46 against the right-hander, and pops him up, and circling under that will be Nettles. Steps into foul ground, pulls it in, and the Dodgers, after a leadoff single, are retired. So 1 hit, no runs, no errors. We head to the top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Yanks, as Willie Randolph set to lead it off against Hooten. And 25, contact off Randolph's card. 76 against the right-hander, and Randolph strokes that. He hits it hard into the gap in left center. He's going to get to second base easily. So the Yankees, who suffered the indignity of 9 scattered singles against Tommy John in the opener, have a couple extra base hits today, and Randolph leads off the 5th inning and is in scoring position for Bucky Dent. 70, that'll be contact off Hooten's card. 58 against the right-hander, and that's a fly ball. Shallow to left field. Coming in to take that one is Baker. And holding up at second base will be Randolph. 1 down, top of the order for Roy White. And the switch hitter steps in, 21, contact. That'll be off Hooten's card again. And 9 against the left-hander, and that's a single +1 as White drives that into right field. It's shallow and hit hard, so Randolph's going to have to hold at second base. So the Yankees, first and third, 1 down. This was a situation they were in a couple of times against John in the opener, but could not make hay. 2 to Thomason versus the right-hander, and Thomason draws a base on balls, even with the Hooten's modifier. So that loads the sacks up, and that's Hooten's first walk of the game, and loaded up for the captain, Thurman Munson. 1 down, nowhere to put him, 34, and Hooten comes up big against the right-hander. No adjustment, swing and a miss. So Munson, that was a pure strikeout off of his card. He fails in the clutch. So Reggie Jackson, this was the year he earned that nickname, Mr. October. Is he going to come through and do it again? 94, and that will be a defensive check after we get the result. So 9 and -2 against the right-hander makes it 1 to 10. It is going to come off Reggie's card. Can he come through? And again, we'll have a defensive check after. 14 against the right-hander, and Jackson drives that into right field, a run-scoring single. And again, fielder's choice, or coach's choice, runner can advance an extra base. So 1 run is in. Now we have to resolve the defensive check. So right field and defensive checks, it's a 1D20, and it is a outfield hit, so you'll reference this column down here. You can have range checks or error checks. And 10, and that is going to be a range check. And 4, right fielder for the Dodgers, Reggie Smith, his range is a 4, so he gets to it. And that is going to be normal result. Runners advance 1 or 2 bases depending on hit type. And we are not going to do the coach's choice option. Well, you know what? Roy White is a 6. Smith has no adjustment. And he's going to try and score. So White, 6 or less, he will be safe at home. Here comes a throw, and he is gunned down at the plate. So Reggie Jackson has to settle for a single RBI on that, and 9 to 2. Goes White, and hopefully that does not come back to haunt the Yankees. But Reggie does come through in the clutch. So a run-scoring single. So on that sequence, we had the normal contact resolution, and then a defensive check, which the range check was successful, and then a plate due to the coach's choice option. So that's probably about as complicated, well, that is as complicated as a single at-bat will get. And one of the few times you'll have to go off the batter cards to get the result, batter cards and pitcher cards. So we are to the bottom of the 5th, and leading this off is Dusty Baker. 92 will be a defensive check, and after we get the contact result, which will come off of Hunter's card. 89 against the right-hander, and that is going to be a fly ball into left field. So out in left field, 9, and that is going to be a range check, and a 0. That will be a successful range check for the left fielder Piniella. I'm sorry, Roy White is the left fielder, who has a range of 4. So there, on a successful range check, runs down, fly, runner on third may attempt to score using run rating, not applicable. If he had failed his run check, or range check, sorry, that would have been ball falls between fielders, runners advance 1, can attempt 2. So as it is, just a nice running catch by Roy White, 1 down for the Dodgers. 83, contact off of Monday's card. And Monday takes a big cut against the right-hander, and that is going to be a ground ball, unfortunately down to third base. Nettles, clean pickup, whips it over across the diamond. And 1 down as Spencer plucks that out of the air. So the Dodgers have not been, they were very fortunate in the opener, not so much today. Who is not fortunate, though, is Catfish Hunter, a 1, and that is going to be a walk. So that is his 3rd walk of the game as Lee Lacy trots down to first base. And you got to think at some point they might come back to haunt him, hopefully not. And 14, that'll be contact. If that would have been a left-handed batter, that would have been, or a pitcher, that would have been a walk for Yeager, but not the case. Contact off a Hunter's card. And that's going to be a long fly ball, and running that down in left field is White. So that is the inning. Dodgers get a walk, but no hits. No runs, no errors, nobody left. We head to the top of the 6th inning, still 2-0 Yanks. And Hunter, just as a anticipating he still keeps pitching well, if he does get to his fatigue point, which will be the 3rd time Monday hits his next at bat, if he still has given up only 0 or 1 runs, he remains fresh and can stay in the game. So 57 and Nettles, that'll be contact off of Hooten's card. And 0-1, that's a ground ball down to second base. Up with that is Lopes, whips it over to Garvey, 1 down. 4-3 on a put out, Sweet Lou Piniella. And contact off of Hooten's card. 97, potential wild pitch. Nobody on, so we'll replay the at-bat. And 11, this will be contact off Pinella's card this time. 48 against Hooten, and that is going to be a single as Piniella drives that into left field. So taking advantage of the second chance, and the Yankees have gotten a hit in every inning, just have not done a good job closing the deal. Jim Spencer steps up 60, and that's going to be contact off of Spencer's card, who hits righties very well, lefties not a lick. 32. And can Spencer keep the inning going? He cannot, and that is going to be a double play. Drives that down to first base. So 3-6-3 on the double play, and the Yankees hit into their 2nd. And that ends the threat. So Yankees, 5 double plays already in this series, and that is one of the things, that and the inability to string hits together is kind of what's keeping them at bay thus far. Catfish Hunter steps up to face Davey Lopes, and 98, that is going to be a park adjustment off the Lopes card. So 29, and that is going to be a ground ball. So Lopes grounds that down to second base, and 1-19 it remains. 4-3 on the put out there. So the Dodgers, even when they get favorable results on their card in terms of hitting, aren't able to make them pay off. Russell, and that'll be contact off a Hunter's card. Dodgers still sitting on a single hit in this one. And that's going to be a long fly ball into center field. Thomason runs that down. And 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning for the Dodgers. Reggie Smith up. And 0-6 against the right-hander. And again, Smith draws his 2nd walk of the game. Hunter's 4th. So 4 walks now given up. And luckily none of them come back to haunt Catfish. 7, and that's going to come off of Steve Garvey's card. 85 will be contact. Garvey with a chance to get the Dodgers back into this one. And Garvey drives a deep shot, and it is gone. 92 and 13 on the 1D20. Hunter's not going to stop a home run from leaving the yard, unfortunately. So Steve Garvey, just like he did in the first game, gets the Dodgers' second hit, his second 2-run shot of the series. And just like that, we're tied up at 2. And Hunter cruising along, gets tattooed as Ron Say steps in. 2 outs now, nobody on, and Say, contact's going to be off of Hunter's card. Tough break for Catfish there. He'd been doing a great job keeping the troublesome Dodgers at bay. And this is going to be a single off of Hunter's card as well, so Ron Say. And that's going to get some stirring up in the Yankees bullpen. So warming up, even though it's early, Sparky Lyle is up, and Raleigh Eastwick, who pitched well in the opener, is up again as well. And Dusty Baker now set to hit. 33, Catfish, and versus the right-hander, swing and a miss, struck him out. So he gets out of the inning, but 2 big hits, 2 runs. Of course, the big blow, Steve Garvey's blast into the left field bleachers. And after 6, we're tied at 2. So heading into the 7th inning now. And Bert Hooton is still on the mound, still fresh. And that's going to be the end of the day for Hooton, or I'm sorry, Catfish Hunter. So when the Yankees or Dodgers come up to bat in the 7th, Raleigh Eastwick will be on the mound. That's really a shame. Hunter went 6 innings, gave up only 3 hits, walked 4, had just 2 strikeouts, and then that unfortunate home run. So he pitched a good game, but just 1 lapse there in the 6th inning. So Randolph steps in against Hooton, and 54 will be contact off of Hooton's card. And it's going to be a fly ball into left field. Coming over to take care of that is Dusty Baker, 1 down. Bucky Dent up. Dent, he is grounded out twice, hit into grounded out to shortstop in the 3rd and flew out to left field in his last at bat in the 5th. And 30, swing and a miss. Hooton gets him with the knuckle curve, 2 down. Here comes a pitch to White and contact on Hooton. And the left-hander, that's a ground ball down to second base. Lopes takes care of that. So Hooton comes back strong in the 7th. First inning, the Yankees have been set down in order. So that 2-run blast by Garvey energized him. 2-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch here at the Old Ball Game. And Rick Monday steps in, and 10 against the right-hander, and Eastwick against left-handed batters has a +7 modifier to walk, so he is going to issue a free pass to Monday. So we've seen the pitcher-batter interaction come into play on, obviously it does every time on the contact result, but on the walk and strikeout, it's come into play a few times in this game. Next up, Lee Lacy, and Lacy, that is going to be in play, and that is going to be off of Eastwick's card. Right-handed batter, 7. And that's going to be a single +1. So 1st and 2nd now, as Lee Lacy drives that into left field, and the Dodgers are in business, and Sparky Lyle is warming up again. I hope Eastwick could get through this inning. They're not going to have Yeager bunt. Didn't call it in time. This will be a defensive check, however, and it's going to come off of Yeager's card. Eastwick is a -5 versus right-handers, but that makes Yeager 1-3, so still off of his card. And 7, and that is going to be a single +1 as he drives that one into center field. So we're going to have a defensive check now on the center fielder Thomason. And 12, range check 0. Thomason gets to that on a single only. Poor jump would have allowed runners to advance 2, otherwise NA, normal results. So bases are loaded, nobody out. And the Dodgers, just like they did in real life, threatening to come back and break the Yankees' hearts in Game 2 of this one. And this will be Eastwick's last batter. We're going to bring the infield in, which obviously will have an effect depending on the result. And 90, that is going to be a defensive check off of Eastwick's card. So the Yankees defense needs to come through here. 27, and that is going to be a potential, ground out double play. And again, the infield is in. So this would go to runner forced out at home, other runners advance. And the hit is down to second base. So first, now we have to resolve the defensive check. And at second base, Willie Randolph has a range of 5, error of 4. So 15, infield ground ball, that is going to be a potential error, potential throwing error. And 6, and outside of his error range, and I'm sorry, yeah, it's safe. On errors, 0 to 4 would have been an error. So 6, we're good. Ground into double play, first base occupied, and of course with the infield in, that becomes a force out at home, 4-3. And again, this is another example really of as complicated as the game will get in terms of having to look off the cards, look at charts, and go through multiple steps for a single at bat, or extra steps for a single at bat. So Eastwick comes up big there. Bill Russell up, bases loaded, still 1 down. And 49, that will be contact. It'll come off Eastwick's card after the adjustments. 66 to the right-hander, and that is a shallow fly ball into right field. Coming in to take that is Piniella, and it's not going to be deep enough to get the runner to come home. So a shallow fly ball, and going back to third base is Rick Monday. So Eastwick on the verge of pulling a Houdini act here if you can get Reggie Smith. Here comes a pitch, and against the right-hander, oh, walks home a run, Raleigh Eastwick. Damn you. So the Dodgers take a 3-2 lead as the 6th Yankee walk of the day. And finally, the free passes come back to undo them. Eastwick will stay in to pitch to Garvey. This will be his last batter regardless. And 26, that's going to be contact off Garvey's card. That's bad news. 15, and that is going to be a ground ball down to third base. Nettles averts further damage, but enough was done. The Dodgers get a couple of hits, couple of walks. And they're able to squeeze a run out of that. We're through 7. Dodgers lead this 3-2. And that's going to be it. Eastwick is done. Sparky Lyle will come in. Eastwick, a very unproductive inning. Pitched well yesterday, but gave up a couple hits, a run, and a walk in this one. And Bert Hooton is still on the mound. He's given up 2 runs, so when he gets to Reggie Jackson, this will be his last inning regardless. And up in the Dodgers bullpen, they're going to get a pitcher ready to go. Terry Forster, the closer back in the days when closers could go more than a single inning, top of the 8th. So 41, that will be contact, and Actually, that will not be contact. Gary Thomason swing and a miss. So Hooten has the Yankees hurting as he strikes out Thomason. Thurman Munson up. And 62 will be contact off of Munson's card. So Munson looking to get a rally going here. And against the right-hander, that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Lopes takes care of that, however, and 1-2 down now for the Yankees as Reggie Jackson steps up. And this will be Hooten's last batter regardless, as he will be fatigued after this. 72 is going to be contact off of Hooten's card. And 85 to the left-hander, and that is going to be a long fly ball into right field. Going back to pull that in just short of the track is Reggie Smith. So Hooten has his strongest innings of the game are his last two. He'd given up a hit in each of the first 6 innings, at least one, and finally bounced back to retire the final 7 Yankees he faced. So Hooten's line on the day will be 8 innings pitched, 9 hits, 2 runs, both earned. And he gives up just a single walk and strikes out 4. So all in all, not a bad day for Hooten. Terry Forster is going to come in the 9th to try and finish it up. As Reggie does not earn his October stripes in that at bat, so heading to the bottom of the 8th inning, the Penguin, Ron Say up against Sparky Lyle. And probably not a good idea to have a left-handed pitcher on the mound against this lineup, but 19, and against right-handers, no walk modifier, so just missed a walk. That will be contact. Off of Lyle's card, Lyle is a -1 contact modifier against both lefties and righties. He really, despite his 9-3 record in 78, wasn't really that great of a year for him pitching-wise. That's going to be a ground ball down to Nettles, however, so 1 down. As the Dodgers' 8th gets underway. Dusty Baker up. And that'll be contact off Lyle's card. And 31, that's going to be another ground ball to Nettles, so 2 quick outs. Greg Nettles takes care of both Say and Baker, and Rick Monday up, lefty-lefty matchup. 82, and that'll be contact off Lyle's card. Damn it. 5, and that's a ground ball down to second base. Willie Randolph takes care of that. So the sinker baller induces 3 ground ball outs, and we head to the top of the 9th. Dodgers lead this 3-2 and looking to jump out to a 2-0 lead in the series. Terry Forster, the left-hander, on the hill to finish the 9th. Contact would be off Forster's card. Greg Nettles a batter, and 8, and Nettles starts off the inning with a single. So the rare single off Forster's card, the Yankees' 10th hit of the day. They are getting hits. They are not stringing them together and getting runs, and that's been a recurring theme in both games thus far. 37 against Sweet Lou Piniella, and against the right-hander, a +8 modifier. Forster struck him out. So Terry Forster makes short work of Nettles, and the left-hander, Jim Spencer, he is abysmal against left-handed pitching. So we are going to have a pinch hitter. So Spencer out, 1 down, and runner at first is Nettles, and we will go to the bench. A bench that is stocked with left-handed hitters. Cliff Johnson is going to come in and hit for Jim Spencer. And Cliff can also play first base if needed, if the Yankees can tie here. 29, however, that's going to be contact off of Forster's card. And he gives that a ride. He drives that into center field, but not a problem as Monday pulls that in just short of the track. Going back to first is Nettles, and there are 2 outs now. And the Yankees are down to their final out in the form of Willie Randolph. Forster gets a sign, comes home, and against right-handers, that's going to be a +8 to 35, making his range 43, and swing and a miss. Forster blows Willie Randolph away, strikes out 2 of 3 batters after giving up a leadoff single, and that is your ball game, folks. So once again, the Yankees leave too many squandered opportunities on base, and they fall to a 2-0 deficit as the Dodgers win this one 3-2. Your final line score, the Yankees, 2 runs, 10 hits, no errors. The Dodgers making the most, 5 hits, 3 runs, no errors. And again, the big blow here was a 2-run shot by Garvey. He also had a 2-run blast in Game 1. So winning pitcher is Burt Hooton. And loser is going to be Raleigh Eastwick, and Terry Forster comes in, gets a couple of Ks in the 9th for the save. And that is it, folks. The Dodgers, just like they did in real life, have jumped out to a 2-0 lead in this World Series. And your final box score. And this has been recurring for the Yankees. I mean, each of the first 6 innings they had a hit. And against Tommy John, not quite that, actually against Tommy John in each of the last 5 innings of that game, they had a hit. In 2 innings, they had 2 hits. And in both those cases, once they got out of the inning with a double play, and the other time they had 2 out singles before Mickey Rivers flew out to center field. So same story in this one. The Yankees probably should have gotten 4 or 5 runs in this. Instead, many opportunities squandered. 4th inning, a good example. 1st and 3rd with 2 outs, and Jim Spencer pops up. The 5th inning, even worse. With a single out, they had the bases loaded, and Roy White, bases loaded. And Roy White was thrown out trying to come home on a single by Reggie Jackson, which knocked in the Yankees' 2nd run. So, and then from that point on, Burt Hooton only gave up 1 hit over the last 3 innings he pitched. And that was pretty much it. So MVP of this game, pretty much have to go with Steve Garvey. He was only 1 for 4, but man, that one was a big one. A 2-run blast into the left field bleachers that scored Reggie Smith, who'd walked ahead of him. And a situation where walks, again, were the big story here. The Yankees surrendered, I thought I'd said 6 earlier, but it was actually 5. Surrendered 5 walks, and that one came back to haunt them in a big way, as that really was the difference in the game. So there you have it. Another replay featuring the final prototype of Glory Days Baseball. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you're having a good day. Until next time, keep swinging for the fences. Take care. Bye.